When I said this board works, it actually does. But the key is how you wire the board. Because if it doesn't work regularly, there's a way to wire the board. What you have to do, you don't need all the components. You don't have to connect it to all the capacitors. There's only certain things you have to hook it to. Now, if you follow the wire on the board, the wire starts here, runs around, comes around, and it doesn't connect necessarily to the capacitors or anything like that on the board. It only connects to certain components that makes the board actually work. See, when you run the board, you run it around, but you don't need to connect to capacitors, and you don't need to connect every component. Because once you plug the wire in to a working slot, it turns the board on automatically because the part that needs to make the board work actually are on. Once the wire is connected to certain components on the board, you follow where my hand is going. It follows it all the way around. This is what makes the board actually work. So even though you don't have a plug or anything connected to the board, you don't really need it. If you have an old board, all you have to do is take it off, take the cover off, take one copper wire and start to run it just to certain components. You don't have to run it to all sides of the component. You just have to make certain components where the circuits connect. And when you make the circuit connect, then you connect it. You connect down here to the diodes, because the diodes are part of the system. And once you come around, you work the wire around. You don't need to connect to the capacitors on the board. The capacitor, any kind of capacitor, you don't need to connect to none of those because once those come connected to the board. So to connect it to the board, all you need to do is run the wire to certain components on the board. That's how the thing actually works. Since y'all thought it didn't work, this is how you make a board work that you don't have a plug for. So you don't have to challenge the brain. Just follow instructions. Take a look at the board and take a look at how the wire runs.